only is it Friday, this Friday really feels for me like a transition. This is the first day I kind of felt summer coming, at least here in Denver, Colorado. I mean, we had snow up until actually, I think we had a little bit of snow in early May. like all of a sudden, it's just like a light. It's kind of turned on. But so good to see everybody. Thank you so much. This is my monthly show, which is basically New Moon Party. I'm going to have special guest Julie Day on to gab with me about the planets in a few minutes. And this is, of course, because we have a new moon coming up on Tuesday. But before we get to that, first I want to say thank you to everyone who sent me birthday greetings this week. I'm so grateful. I mean, I really felt overwhelmed with love, and I was very grateful. And with the moon in Pisces on Wednesday, oh my God, I think it's okay. It was a good birthday, but it just felt so heavy and so rich. I'm just feeling the whole earth this week. And I think that's because we're in Taurus, and Taurus is about manifestation. It is about what we feel. But thanks to everyone who sent me birthday greetings, who posted, who sent me gifts, who sent me cards. All of you know who you are. But I want to officially say thank you very much. I'll be talking to Julie about this new age that I'm at. So we'll kind of save the birthday talk for a little bit. We're in an interesting moment in human history, I think. I'm very personally fascinated by this particular spiritual moment. I'm glad to say that we're, I think, on to a new era finally. And in the last 6 weeks or so, man, actually the entire year of 2018, see, I'm going to 17 already. That's how time warped I am. The entire year of 2018 has been about switching gears. In 17, we kind of broke the foundation and realized a change needed to happen. And in 2018, I think so far, we have been just climbing spiritually uphill the entire year. And many planets represent that. One, having Saturn in Capricorn for the first time in 30 years. We're all having to get serious about our business and cut away things that aren't working for us, and having to take responsibility for ourselves in a whole new way. And so that's like an underlying theme that's been going on this year. But also working on our spirit with Chiron wrapping up in Pisces. We wrap up a lot of healing of our spiritual karma. So it's a big turning of the corner as far as the spiritual era being over. And I call that the story you were born to versus the story you were born to live. And then Uranus in Aries. Holy shift, man. I have to say, right now, Uranus is at step 29 Aries. That's the final tested step. And for myself, my goddess, I think that the challenge for the last 6 weeks has been this Uranus in Aries, which is us basically putting the final test to our winged ego, the ego that we've been working on since the Mayan shift. And I think for many of us who try to live in spirit and channel spirit on earth, the ego has always been the biggest problem. It's always been the biggest problem. Even, I know a bunch of light walkers who are fabulous at their spiritual gifts, but we're still battling with ego issues. And I've seen in the light walker industry lots of, temper tantrums and territory skirmishes and, people worried about not getting theirs. So this particular planting season of Taurus, this planting season, we have to move forward and manifest, and hopefully it's from a new spiritual perspective where we're karma free, where the past is finally in the past, and it's from a new ego motive where we're going to operate from a higher version of our ego, which I call the winged ego, which basically, in the simplest terms, it's time to take the high road. It's time for everyone to everyone knows better on how they ought to behave. Okay, and this is very important with ourselves too. So for me, in the last, in this transition of the last 6 weeks, which is basically the launching of the winged ego, I have overcome a lot of issues in just 6 weeks that had plagued me for the entire Uranus in Aries transit, like things that in the very last, literally in the finish line of the transit, I was finally fixing ego issues that I had for 7 years. And I found like it was last minute. And this week, as Mercury has been approaching Uranus, and they're going to cross the moon, Mercury, and Uranus all cross on Sunday. They all conjoin. And what that means is this weekend, your thoughts, your feelings, and this new version of your ego kind of all unite and harmonize around one cause or one direction. So technically, the ego issue is over this weekend. Like, we are done with the hard climb. Thank Goddess for that. And I think that most of the struggle I felt in the last 6 weeks has been this trying to get in this new ego. Some of the ego issues is I'm not strong enough. I don't know if I can continue on this journey. I'm tired of fighting. I noticed a lot with myself too. I can't tell you how many times, like, the old me would, for instance, even this shoot today, I caught myself this morning as I was going to the gym, because I have to kind of get in my blood pumping before I get on camera, because otherwise I'm a snore. And as I was walking the gym, I literally heard my mind go, "Oh, this is going to be so hard." And then I had to stop myself and be like, "See, we got to stop that. It's going to be easy and breezy. It's going to be a piece of cake." Like, so still rewriting my thoughts to not being this like melodrama, fight or flight sort of ego perspective. But I think that, like I said, I think this weekend it ends. And we have a new moon on Tuesday. This is the new moon party. Hello to everyone who's showing up live. So grateful that you're here. We have a new moon on Tuesday morning. And this new moon basically is the first planting of manifestation that has this new winged ego perspective, that has this new way of controlling your life, and that has your new spiritual karma shift perspective. So like, I'm finally past my karma. I'm finally past my struggles. I finally know how to be in control of my life. And I think that's what most people are feeling. We don't see any results yet. That's what we're planting in Taurus. But I feel like this is what we're planting. And the interesting thing about Taurus energy is Taurus is what I call our soul capital, which in other words is like our self-esteem, how much we value ourselves or don't value ourselves. Basically, how much credit we give ourselves. And I think a lot of the lightworkers have been very damaged in the sense that we have so far in our life not given ourselves very much credit. And I think that's been due to the fact that we had subconscious issues from past life where we had failed before and it had been horrible before. So we hadn't given ourselves credit because we weren't satisfied with the job. And perhaps we made many mistakes in Uranus and Aries, and we didn't give ourselves credit for that reason as well. Oh, it's Julie. Oh, what happened? Troy, our studio is confused. We'll bring her up in just a second. I'll finish this intro. So we have Julie Day here already, which is good. So I feel like what's interesting about this new moon, I'll talk to Julie about it when she comes on, is this is the first new moon where abundance is really possible. And I say it's possible because finally we can give ourselves some credit. Okay, like credit for what we've overcome, credit for coming out of our karma, credit for keeping our ego in check, right? And credit for keep going. The fact that we keep going and we don't stop. So this is going to be, I think, the first new moon where we might have some really interesting results from what we plant or we try to create. And this summer is going to be a wonky summer. So I'm going to talk about the new moon for all 12 signs after my little discussion here with Julie. But first, I want to bring on my spiritual partner here in crime and rhyme, Julie Day. Hey, Julie.
Happy birthday to you.
Yay.
To you. Happy birthday, dear Christopher. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, Julie. I'm wearing the button. I'm not trying to stretch out the celebration, but I am trying to acknowledge. I know. Look at the Leo's face. Yeah.
Come on. The birthday week at least. Did
totally.
You enjoy your birthday yesterday?
Yesterday? Well, no. So my birthday was Wednesday. My astrology birthday was actually Tuesday. No worries. I know we're in a time warp. My actual step 18 day, I felt great. And then my actual calendar birthday, things felt like shift. The moon was in Pisces this week. How did you feel this week?
I'm tired, really offline.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I was tired the whole week too.
Yeah. I was a Netflix crazy mama. Just wanted to be in bed. Bed.
Yeah. I was fighting to get up every day.
Mm.
Like my body did not want to move. And I was just, going through the basics. So it was a great birthday in the sense that, like, spiritually, I feel like it's a new era for me. In fact, I was going to share this with you. This is my 45th birthday. I know that's a long way off for you, but maybe you can imagine.
It's like 3 months. Everybody.
I'm protecting her age, but we're born the same year.
No need. The older people think I am, the better. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, say I'm 50, and then like, look how great I look for 50.
Oh, I'm the same way. Yeah. I actually played. I'm like, I'm 45, y'all.
Yeah.
So, but I gotta say, Julie, weird thing. Like, this birthday, like, was the first time where I looked and saw I'm halfway through. Like, I've completed maybe half the journey. 90 is where, is a great age expectancy. So literally feeling that over the hill kind of energy in this birthday, it was wonky.
Yeah. I've been feeling that a lot lately, Christopher. And I've never thought of myself getting to 90, but just this, the age.
That's my plan.
Yeah,
I'm a net 9. It's got to be 90 or above.
Good for you. But just getting death from a different place, from being closer to, I could go tomorrow, but just by, guessing that I live until 75, 80, I'm closer to the door than ever before. And it's a different perspective. And it gives the day to day a different perspective. And there's almost, I don't know if you ever experienced this, but there's almost a, when you've come down the spiritual road a certain extent, there's that point of just like, gosh, it just doesn't matter. Like, so little actually matters. And yet I can make an argument for the opposite too. But just that, like, just looking at this tree is enough. Just being here and sharing some love, like, that's enough. And so there's almost a calm about that, but then there's also like an existential crisis that comes along.
A little bit. I mean, like, and I think it was part of the ego stuff too, which is interesting. So we're going through this, I think the new launch of an ego with Uranus and Aries, and go ahead.
Talk to you about that. The switchover, because when does that happen? When does Uranus go into Taurus?
It happens Wednesday of this week, right? Yeah, Wednesday.
So we have the moon, and then we have Uranus shifting into Taurus. That's pretty amazing.
We have the new moon on Tuesday, and then God's like, and cue Uranus. Like, so it goes straight into Taurus the very next day, which that kind of conspiracy I see all the time in the planets. And it makes me think, no time is really wasted. People are like, what is taking God so long? I'm like, I see no time wasted when I look at the planets. It's like, as soon as you get that new moon Taurus, let's do it.
Yeah. I'm actually excited for Uranus and Taurus. I feel like the shifts that will come because of that are the shifts that we've been, planting seeds like crazy for.
It really is. And I was saying in my upcoming Namaste today, I call Uranus and Taurus Miracle Grow, because I think, it's in my soul garden, spiritual gardening kind of approach. But I really think that, like, Uranus, and I was talking to another astrologer about this too. Uranus in itself is like the fighter, the irritable fighter, the groundbreaker, the jackhammer, is Uranus energy. And Aries is all about fighting too. And Aries is all about staying strong. So like Uranus and Aries has been like this, no, like literally like two people in a cat fight in a bar, I think it's been that way for and inside it's been that way too. It's like, I need to evolve. You're fine enough. Shut up. Who are you talking to? You know what I mean? Like, it's been crazy. And I just think Uranus and Aries is just a bad mix, a bad cocktail whenever it happens. So I think just Uranus and Taurus already has like this root intention in its consciousness to grow. And It's already, that's the whole point of Taurus. I want 3 houses and 5 wives and 27 children. You know what I mean? Like that. Taurus is abundance. And so I think with Uranus hitting Taurus, Taurus can be like, unlike Aries that fought the whole way, Taurus be like, bring it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I'm interested as to what happens with our money system with Uranus.
Yes. Funny you bring that up.
Yeah, well, we see that happening already, you know, that there's a shift happening. The way we are with money is starting to collapse a little bit. We're seeing a little bit of the cracks. And I think that Uranus in Taurus is going to bring the bigger cracks, if not the total collapse, with our money system. But in a way that provides for the better growth to happen, the better seeds to be harvested. I think with manifestation consciousness, right? Like even Abraham Hicks, which I've loved, and you know, The Secret, all this sort of stuff. Like people are not gravitating towards those systems anymore. You know, even our way of looking at manifestation is going to change. Way of looking at abundance is going to change. And I'm all for that. I'm excited. I think we have a leg up on that, you know, because we've been doing it differently anyways, you know, from the inside out instead of the outside in.
That's a very good point. I think you're absolutely right. I think the people who already believe in law of attraction and manifestation from that perspective, they're going to grow like weeds in this period too. I think the universe is going to be very fertile. You know, the last time Uranus was in Taurus was 1935, March of 1935.
Oh,
which
that was right after the Depression?
Basically in the middle of it. So when Uranus hit Taurus, that's when the New Deal came out with FDR, which is like, let's get everyone back to work, Taurus.
Oh, wow.
And we all started these new deals and we went to a different banking system, a corrupt one, but we went to a new banking system and we created income tax and we changed the gold standard. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we went off the gold standard later, but we confiscated everyone's gold. So Uranus in Taurus is like this rehashing of financials. And I think in this particular time around, Bitcoin, you know what I'm saying? This whole idea of digital virtual currency, which is to me just so weird because it's kind of like God made monopoly money real all of a sudden. You know what I mean?
Hello bond, which
because it's digital, so it's real. You know, like edit talks to you and it has an emoji. It's like, what? You know,
do you have Bitcoin?
I haven't purchased any. I actually was talking to a fellow astrologer, David Palmer, about this. We had a talk. You might be interested in, like, he was like, so bro, you're the Taurus. What do you think about Bitcoin? I'm like, I think I'm going to wait till Uranus hits Taurus. Because whatever it was, I knew Uranus and Taurus would straighten whatever it is out. And right now it's doing really poorly.
Yeah, it's been all over the place, right? There was that skyrocket high at the end of the year, or like October, November, and then now it's doing poorly. So it's not stable.
It's not stable because it's not a security. It's not based. It doesn't have any kind of backing like FDIC or anything. So you have the potential of completely. It's basically legalized computer gambling. You know what I mean at the moment. But I actually think blockchain, the technology that's involved with that, is going to revolutionize the world economy, because what it's going to allow is banks basically won't hold all the leverage. Right now, you have to go through a bank to get money to like Venezuela, you know, and these banks, and the way the banks do it is they have money waiting already in Venezuela, and they're just giving themselves a loan or whatever to transfer the money. Yeah. What Bitcoin and digital currency is going to do is it's going to free money up to be truly international and cut out the banking system.
I love that. I think that that's what we've been calling in. So how appropriate that this is manifesting now.
Oh, it's very interesting. And the other interesting aspect that, you know, when in 1935, that's actually Hitler was a 0-degree Taurus. So Uranus conjoined his sun in 1935.
Oh my gosh.
And it was in 1935, as soon as his sun was conjunct by Uranus, he ordered for the Air Force, the Luftwaffe, to be rebuilt against the Paris Arms Treaty. So like he basically, as soon as Uranus went to Taurus, he said, screw you, I'm doing what I want. And what's interesting is at that point, we all industrialized to a crazy level in preparation or potential for war.
Wow.
So Uranus and Taurus was the entire war buildup. The whole Rivy the rocket going into the, that was Uranus and Taurus. Women going into factories and making airplanes, like that was Uranus and Taurus. Yeah.
Yeah, let's not do that again.
Well, it's interesting to see. I'm curious, what's interesting is after Uranus was in Aries, we had just innovated our ego. And so basically the Nazis with their brand new ego was like, let's take over the world. Mm-hmm. And all the other big egos of the world were like, no, you don't. You know what I mean? Like, what's interesting is we're coming out of that same Uranus Aries, transit that we did that led into, Hitler wanting to take over the world, basically, and Mussolini and Stalin, who are both Tauruses, by the way. So Whoa. It's like World War II is mostly caused by asshole Tauruses. Yeah. But even Saddam Hussein in our modern era was a Taurus. There's a lot of Taurus dictators. Doesn't make me proud. Yeah. But what's interesting is here we are again at the end of this, and I'm just throwing it out there. It's like I'm not liking, Jerusalem and Israel attacking Syria right now. It seems like we seem to be, and we just got out of the Iran agreement for nuclear disarmament. So it's like, unfortunately, we may be going down a similar path.
Well, what are one or more best practices that we can do as, light workers, edge walkers, whatever you want to say, to build a different world that is more aligned with light, love, etc.?
I think, that's a good question. I think it all comes down, people don't realize it, but I give this example in another show. It's like the United States did not enter World War II until Pearl Harbor attacked us because the American people were hell-bent on not going to war.
Oh, wow. I didn't know
and
that.
So, yeah, and FDR was kind of screwed because he knew it was inevitable. He knew that Great Britain, he knew Churchill, he knew they couldn't hold up without us. But he also knew the American people after World War I were like, screw that. We're not doing that ever again. So the point is believe it or not, people's tone, people's opinion, what people hold in their heart and their daily vibration day to day, this has a sphere of influence energetically. Just being clear on what your values are. So I think in a practical sense, we really have to practice the new evolved ego, which is a simple philosophy. There's got to be a win-win opportunity here, right? And as far as I'm concerned, it's like with Syria and whatnot, I don't want to get political on my show, but I want to talk about policy on this show. But it's like, to me, the policy is, why do we bomb? There's a lot of things you can do before you bomb somebody. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of options. And I think that's as voters, that's where our beginning is expecting different, actions to be taken. But it's an interesting moment.
You said the word value before, and of course we know that's a big key word for Taurus. And one of the things that I did that was a game changer for me was get really clear on my top 5 core values. And this this came into my life as a little exercise about 5 years ago or something. And when we get clear about those values, then we can start to act with integrity. This is in alignment with my values. This is not in alignment with my values. Oh, this is why this friendship with this person isn't really working. It doesn't align with 3 of my core values. No wonder why, or I have this one value that's not really being nourished. I'm going to go find an outlet for it. I'm going to go find a way to really express it and experience it. And I think that that's a good exercise as well. Your top 5 core values, like is one of them love? Is one of them family? Is one of them your spiritual practice? These kind of values.
I think that's brilliant. And I think, I was talking about soul capital before. I feel like because we've gotten over a lot of our shift where we weren't valuing ourselves because of our mistakes and our karma and we were judging ourselves and not valuing ourselves. I agree with your exercise. It's like you have to be aware of your values. You have to be aware if you are living up to your values for you to feel valuable.
Oh, that's so true.
Yeah. Like, and a lot of people are extremely valuable, but they never sat down and like listed their top 5 values and looked to see if they lived up to their values. So if you ask them, are they confident? They don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that not knowing of what your values are and what you subscribe to and whether or not you're doing well in it, that ends up hampering your manifestation, because you're putting out this kind of like not so sexy signal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and I believe that manifestation is a byproduct of alignment. And I think that the old way is to focus on manifestation.
Right.
And it creates a sometimes sufferable experience, right? Like, why am I not manifesting this thing? And it's really that inner alignment with yourself. And when you get that inner alignment with abundance, with, you know, the kind of transportation that is in alignment with your values and who you really are, then the manifestation happens like that. So I think that that's part of what this Uranus and Taurus is going to do. It's going to shift us towards really looking at this inner alignment within ourselves and what are our values and lining up with those values, and then manifestation just happens.
I think that's well said. No, I think that's a brilliant observation. Well, no, and to me, it's like it's reaching out. It's taking action with that new ego. You know, the old ego was outside of me. I think that's the fight or flight ego is my power is outside of me, and I think that the new ego is my powers inside of me.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think you're right. Like, for those people who live by that new mantra of my power is inside of me, you're right. Their values will be lined up. They're going to manifest a lot quicker. They're going to bring in things faster. And it's going to all be kind of fertilized by Uranus Miracle Grow.
Yeah. Way to put it all together, Why Techie? That was great.
Well, thank you very much. I think it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
But we're probably going to see in Uranus and Taurus us go to the Jetson age.
Ooh.
So, yeah, we're real close in lots of industries, medicine, genetic research, stem cell research. It's all coming to a head now. And, you know, auto driving cars, auto flying solo copters. It's going to, you know, we have citizens trying to go to Mars. Ooh. So it'll be interesting to see with Uranus and Taurus there too.
I think too, ways to save our planet. You know, some of these 14-year-old kids are coming up with amazing inventions to, you know, help with the plastics in the ocean or help with the coral reefs. And I really think we're going to see an explosion of that.
I think you're right too. I think as far as taking care of our climate, we might see a nice with Uranus. And to me, Taurus is Earth. That's my own belief. I don't think it's ruled by Venus. I think it is ruled by Earth. Someone wrote me and said, "Of course, you Tauruses think you own the Earth." I was like, no, I don't. I feel like I'm a steward. I feel like I have to watch over it. It's not mine, right? Yeah. But with Uranus and Taurus, I think our Mother Earth relationship is going to be shaken up.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think Taurus is ruled by Earth.
Yeah, I feel like, and that's why we don't move. You know, it's because we're like, y'all move around us. We are the pasture.
I'm the sun. Move around me.
Yeah. That's what Leo and Taurus are always tangling right there. So funny. So let me ask you, Julie, how have you been? How have you been in this last 6 weeks of the final Uranus and Aries?
I can't remember the last 6 weeks, but I know the last 2 weeks since the Scorpio full moon. I feel like the Scorpio full moon started the day after the full moon, and
yes.
It was super intense. And I remember having a conversation with you at the end of that week and just going, what the fuck? And and it felt really good to connect and to say, whoa, yeah, I was feeling those intense waves too. And there was a lot of past life stuff that came up. You know, it was all Scorpio, deep, going down to the bottom of my soul and dredging up content that wanted to be released. And then this past week just felt like, okay, now sleep. Now let your body reset for this Taurus new moon so that you can then build and put it into action. So that's what I've been feeling. And, you know, as I was thinking about this, and I was like, I bet Christopher's going to ask me this question. like just the importance of having conscious comrades, like soul family, conscious friends, conscious community where you can lean into them. And I know when it's an unconscious community, it looks like victimhood, like, oh, okay, well, it's just astrology, so la la la. But when you have this conscious community, you can say, oh, okay, well, here's what's happening. Here's how I'm surfing it. Here's what I'm learning from it. Here's what I'm harvesting. How about
Yeah.
you? And it just, first of all, it makes my human feel so seen and validated and like okay for being bonkers for a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And it just feels so good to support one another in that way. So conscious comrades.
I love it. I agree with you. I had the same experience, and I agree as well. Like, I'll tell you a dirty little secret. It's like I suffer just like everyone else. And when people are writing me going, oh, thank God you said that, Sensei, I'm like, thank God you said that. You said that. You know what I mean? Because I'm just like, I'm like the weatherman out on the street, like in the rain reporting the weather, but I don't know if it's hitting everyone the same, like it's kind of crazy, but it was intense. I completely agree. And that was part of my old ego, new ego. It's like, because my old ego was like, come on, we just broke through karma. You should get going. You know what I mean? like you've got so much to do. And like, but then I was like, oh my God, I just need to sleep. I really don't want to do anything. I don't feel very motivated. And this is what I practice. So, and for me, it was like, I thought having to baby myself through the hard times was the old story. You know what I mean? And I was like, why do I have to like continue babying myself? And then this week around my birthday, I'm like, maybe it's just the story. It's the story. You will baby yourself till the end. Oh, okay. And then suddenly my ego wasn't so upset that I needed the care. But I was literally like, when am I going to wake up feeling great? My mind has been, but I'm pulling tarot cards and stuff, and it's just like inner cleansing, inner healing, clearing stuff. I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
So I feel like we've been clearing.
And I think that that's so good. Just this cannot be emphasized enough, that if you're on the spiritual path, if you're on the conscious path, you are going to be growing at an accelerated rate. Your junk in the trunk is going to find its way out constantly, constant cleansing, constant purging. And this doesn't mean that life doesn't get better, because it does. You become more efficient and more skillful with handling these moments, but they still happen. And I think that that's the new thing that I really want to model, is that even though I've done a significant amount of work, shift still happens, and we're all under these cosmic tides. We're all here for growth. So that's the wave we're surfing, and this stuff comes up, but you do become more skillful at surfing it. So love your human, be compassionate with your human, let yourself go through the journey and the bumps, and just know that you will get more skillful with handling it all. And then you get the big ones that you can't handle, that you have to learn how to handle all over again.
I wonder, I mean, we'll see. I kind of feel like, at least for me, like at least after this Uranus and Aries transit, which was faith building for Tauruses, which just sucked every step of the way. I kind of feel like I'm done with the whole. First of all, one thing I'm done with is there's no destination. I'm never going to get there. Yeah. Okay, that was and so there's this expectation of getting somewhere. Right. And I think that created this expectation of this psychological, and I'm not there, and I'm not, and I'm not. And I think what shifted for me is I'm never going to be. What I mean? Exact. This is all about, and I really understand. It's like just like living in the moment, or the power of now, and that sort of thing. It's like once you realize you're never going to make it to this destination, and that's mostly because the destination moves as soon as you do. Right. You realize all there is just mastering this moment. Yeah. That's it. I just have to master this moment and see where it leads me. Yeah. And I think that's going to be probably important when Uranus goes into Taurus, because I think the world is going to grow so fast, and change so fast. We won't be having to keep swimming because we have our own shift. We'll have to keep swimming because the collective consciousness is shifting so fast. We're just trying to keep up.
Hmm. Well, that's beautiful, and here's to that. And I love how you just expressed all of that.
Thank you. And I love how you express too. So any big plans for the summer? I mean, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but Mars is going retrograde from June to August.
What does that mean, Christopher? Stop having sex? What happened?
Yes, we will.
Oh,
What I find, yeah, it's totally. I have a Mars that's only 1 degree Pisces. I have a tiny Mars. So when Mars retrogrades, I'm just like, I never had a big Mars to begin with.
All motivation.
What ends up happening, and this just makes me curious because we're about to plant these seeds, right? And these seeds are all based on a new ego, right? And really through the summer, just think of crops like on Earth. You plant your seeds in the spring, you raise your crops over the summer. So these intentions that we're planting with Taurus right now, as soon as we get to Cancer, the emotional part, God pulls the ego completely out of the equation for 2 months. Wonk. Which means that all these crops all grow without ego interference.
Oh, well, that's great.
Or old ego interference. Yeah, it is great if you look at it from that perspective. But from the other perspective, I think we're going to be sitting around watching the grass grow.
Wait, what sign that it retrogrades in?
It retrogrades from Aquarius back into, it goes from, I think, 4 Aquarius to 28 Capricorn. It's not very far either.
Oh, good Lord. Aquarius to Capricorn. So for me, I always go to the B story, right? Your rising sign. And so that's, for me, it's my 4th house, home, family, and foundation. So yeah, I'm ready for that Mars to go retrograde and to redo my house, or maybe not redo my house, maybe just question everything and enjoy my house.
Well, I think, yeah, it'll be a new emotional foundation. It'll be you pulling up. Well, if it starts in Aquarius, so it's like we think we belong. Our ego thinks it belongs at a certain place, and having it retrograde means our ego will not feel like we belong there anymore. And this goes along with a lunar eclipse at 4 degrees Aquarius at the end of July.
All right.
So the universe is like, no, you really don't belong. Like punches. Makes us kind of let go. It's kind of like, if you're holding on to a building and someone steps on your fingers, it's like, and Mars retrograde doesn't save you. You fall or whatever, off of whatever, not in a negative way, but it's just like, I think there's going to be a realization that a certain way that we've been living does not belong. I think there'll probably be a constitutional or some sort of international thing too. But overall, it's kind of like a hurry up and wait summer.
Yeah.
So when Mars is retrograde, you literally are just kind of waiting for the bus to arrive. That's what it feels like.
I'm happy to answer your question of do I have any plans for the summer? The answer is no, I don't have any plans. And it looks like that's the right thing to do.
Yes, it is. And
not make any plans.
Yeah, I wouldn't say anything like anything that your person's manifesting now on their own will continue to grow and manifest. But as far as like world achievements and stuff, we'll see.
Yeah, I'll set aside world achievements until Mars goes direct.
Yeah, I would. And I think what happens too is because Mars retrogrades, my theory is men see when Mars retrogrades, the male drive is changing. So this happens about every 2 years. And we have a Venus retrograde at the end of the year where the female drive is going to change.
Right.
So my theory is by the end of this year, people are all hooking up with different people.
No.
Well, no, I'm not saying that. You're in a happy relationship. Like what'll happen with you two is his maleness will redefine, your femaleness will redefine. And it'll continue. But anyone who's single or whatever, you're going to see, blondes going after brunettes, dogs living with cats. It's going to be crazy.
Oh, great! I can't wait to witness how all of that shifts, both like in the personal structures. Oh my gosh, there's a bright red cardinal right out my window.
What's that mean for you?
long story.
Oh,
Cardinal
that's okay. You don't have to share. No, go
it's
ahead.
like a power symbol. It's like it's the cardinal. It's king queen energy. So yeah. So I love cardinals. What were we saying, Christopher? I
So
got.
summer's gonna be kind of slow.
I'm also
Um,
curious to see what this brings about in the Me Too movement and
mhm.
polarity work movement that David Data and John Wineland do. I think that's going to get a lot of attention, as we shift towards the men really holding a different container and the women really feeling empowered.
Really smart. I have to agree with you. And
Mhm.
with Jupiter and Scorpio, that's the underlying, like, I think change is sexual boundaries and stuff. And
Mm.
I think you're right. Like the Mars retrograde, it's like women just stood up and said, "You can't hit us on the fanny anymore and flirt with us at work." You know what I mean? Like, and for some that was okay, for some it wasn't. But basically, from the male perspective, we're like, "Oh, we can't chase that. Well, how do we get women now?" You know what I mean?
Cold.
Do they just jump in the boat? Like, how's this happen? Like, so I think this summer men are like kind of reinventing. Like, I almost think the Mars retrograde is like the male response to the Me Too movement. Well, then
Yeah.
who am I as a man now? What does
Yeah.
it mean to be a man?
Yeah.
When is it okay to push?
Yeah. Mm.
And then I think the Venus retrograde at the end of the year is women coming out of whatever their spell is too.
Yeah.
And going to whatever's next after Me Too.
Yeah, and I think there's also a redefining of the feminine. You know, I,
Yes.
I I think that there's a lot of weaponizing of the feminine that I see out there right now.
Mm.
There's a lot of empowerment, and there's some imbalance, and so I see that Venus retrograde, which I think is happening in Libra, not quite sure. Do you know what sign it's going to retrograde in?
Libra and Scorpio. Scorpio and Libra.
So it's helping the feminine. Oh, I mean, how perfect! Rebalance that feminine, and then get to true power. What is true power? Not power over another person, but that true inner power. Yeah. So good time.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And yeah, it's Venus through Scorpio and Libra. So women are going to be like, nope, I'm not sleeping with this type anymore, Scorpio. And I'm not dating this type anymore, Libra. And so
Uh
I think, so men are going to come back all new and improved, and girls will be like, I'll be back. So,
huh. Thanks.
but
Now that you're
I
on
think,
watch.
but I think once Jupiter hits Sag, like around Thanksgiving, everyone's going to like be in their new gender identity. You know what I mean? And like, and it's going to be like, yes, it's gonna be like, it's time to party. You know what I mean? Like the world's gonna want to party and get down.
Yes, that's assuming that we all went and voted on November the 4th.
Oh, so interesting.
Okay.
So, I'll just wrap it up. Any new moon intentions for you, Julie? I'm going to go through all the new moons for all 12 signs, but
Awesome.
anything you'd like to say about this new moon? Oh, that was a long pause. I was like, we lost Julie. Go ahead.
For more than 2 seconds. How about you? You go first.
For me, I'm just trying to keep, like, for me, the new moon intention, first of all, it's step 24, so it's about accepting and receiving. And so for me, I'm just trying to hold space and accepting and receiving that these old ego battles are over, accepting and receiving that my karma has changed. The way I was born is not the way I'm going to end up. You know, accepting and receiving I am strong in the new definition.
Ooh,
you know,
yeah.
And not letting my peanut butter fingers screw up the spell. You know,
impossible. You don't have peanut butter fingers. You
have they're very magical. I've made a lot of peanut butter sundaes. I mean, you know what I mean? Like they've made plenty of mess. So it's really about just, I guess the best way to encapsulate it is second chance.
Yeah. Wow. Whoa, that's deep.
Thank you.
For me, it's happening in 8 and 4. No, that's not true. 8 and 10. So it's career and boundaries. And I think a lot of what's been percolating for me is understanding my energy. I'm a hermit. I'm a total freaking introverted hermit out the wazoo. And I need need a lot of alone in order to do the work that I have committed to do in this lifetime. And I fall under the misconception that I have to do it all, and that's not true. It's only true if I believe it to be true. And instead, I can know that I have a team that's willing to help me. I can draw appropriate boundaries. I can care for myself. I can value myself. So I can show up better for what I'm in my genius zone, as my friend Christine Hassler says all the time. You need
Oh,
to
that's
hire
cool.
a team so you can be in your genius zone.
Huh, I love it.
Yeah.
And that's interesting. I'd say that's kind of princess queen mentality change right there. Like, not that you're a princess, but if you thought you had to do it all, you were.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so it seems like you're going into queen mentality, which is your job is just to show up and look good, honey.
Maybe that's what the cardinal was telling me over there.
Yes, that's what the cardinal was telling you.
Because I'm wearing red. Yeah.
Cardinal's like, "What's up, girl? It's springtime. You're looking red." That's very true. And what do you have going on Practical Mystics this month? Give us a little summary.
Yeah, well, we're working on Taurus themes, so value and abundance and self-esteem, manifestation. So we have 12 teachers that are focusing in on that at times. But as always, we're teaching the art and the practice of practical mysticism. And we're changing up the schedule a little bit. So I'm going to be giving a Sunday service every Sunday to help people start their week out from a very aligned place, aligned with spirit, loving up their human, but connecting to something greater.
Yay!
Yeah. And a lot of people have already found their way to Practical Mystics TV. But if you haven't already, come on over and, I'd love to pray you in for your week and get you all aligned. And
I love that you're doing a Sunday thing. Thank you for working on Sunday, because I couldn't. But but it's so needed. I think that it's so needed, and I know I will be. Will this be live like this? Like Facebook Live, or
it'll be live 3 times a month, and then once a month we have the kids on Sunday. So once a month it'll be pre-recorded, but for the most part it'll be live. And tomorrow this Sunday it'll be live. So come on over.
Mother's Day Live with Julie Day.
Oh, it's Mother's Day. Okay, awesome. Great. I can't wait to speak my mother vibration.
There, I just gave you some content ideas right there.
Ideas, and this was largely inspired by you, so thank you.
You're welcome. Well, it's completely selfish reasons. I need someone to hold a church I can pray into once a week. So everyone join us. I'll be live as a visitor and praying with you. Nice.
What time should I do it? 10 or 11 then?
I don't know. You're asking the guy who sleeps in.
Okay, but I'm going to do it at 11. So I'm going to do it at 11 Eastern. You'll have to catch it later.
11 Eastern? That's okay. I might be able to pull it off. We'll see. Okay. I might have to catch it later. I'll be there in spirit, folks. We'll see. But no, well, good luck with that. And how people can go where again to sign up and be a part of Practical Mystics
TV. That's the group page. That's the community page. I'll pop in the comments later and put a little link if people want to come over. It's totally free. Practical Mystics TV.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Julie. It's such a pleasure to hang out with you.
Likewise. I'll see you next month.
Yes, next month we will be talking New Moon in Gemini. Have a great time, sweetie. Love you.
Bye. Love you.
Miss Julie. Such a breath of fresh air, isn't she? Her and I go way back. We're talking many lifetimes back, which is really cool. And that's actually something I could chat about with people is I'm really aware of many of my past lives in this lifetime. I've had a lot of memory come, and I don't know if I think that's definitely a sign of the new age because, read literature from the past. You don't hear cowboys talking about their past life. You don't hear about Edgar Allan Poe writing about his past life. Shakespeare doesn't talk about us. We don't have any of that. But in this life, I'm very aware, and it comes from distinct memories I have. And I have a distinct memory of knowing Julie in a past life. We knew each other in the Wild West. That's all I'll say. But it was a good time. It was a good lifetime. So let's move on to a quick little breakdown for everybody. I just want to end the show giving you a little insight about what to meditate on. I think Julie helped me tremendously with with kind of what this consciousness is about. We're creating a new seed, a new manifestation. This is a new formula. It's kind of like a new cake mix. And as I've said through this whole show, this cake mix is ego-free, karma-free, sugar-free. You know what I mean? Like it's the healthiest sort of cake we have made so far. And I just want to talk about where each sign and rising sign is planting these seeds of new abundance. And one thing I definitely want to kind of keep in your mind is with Jupiter in Scorpio, you have to not just plan for the mansion you want to manifest, you have to plan for the moat. You have to know the fence. You have to hold the space. You have to create the conscious protection and shelter energetically for this to happen. So a lot of people just put their stuff out there and expect it to grow. They don't realize that it needs shelter, it needs love, it needs care, so to speak. So going through the signs. Aries. Aries are really going to be doing great. They are planting seeds to material abundance. This is an excellent time for an Aries to start a new business, start a new job, start anything new, even if it's a new project in the garage or a new project in the wood shop or a new project in the sewing room. Don't mean to be so male. This is an excellent time because it represents a new Aries. And when Uranus going into Taurus, Aries are just going to be pushed to make more and be more productive and more abundant for the next 7 to 8 years. So they're going to be, Aries are going to be grow. So it's an excellent time for them to invest themselves. It's an excellent time for them to start a big manifestation project. Tauruses are creating a new, it's really a new character and a new behavior. So I was talking about it earlier with myself in the sense that the old behavior of me was like, oh, this is going to be hard. So the Taurus ego response, they're really kind of following through with it. And Tauruses are redefining themselves to some degree. Part of this redefinition is that they don't owe the world anything. They've healed from their Pisces karma. So who they are is who they are, and it's heart-based and love-centric. And in the simplest term, Tauruses and Taurus risings are beginning a new chapter of behavior. The way they behave, the way they act, the way they respond. Geminis are on Tuesday morning planting new seeds of inner faith. And this is pretty big because Geminis have finally worked through their karma with who they're supposed to be in society. They're cool with that. They have an idea of where they belong. They're no longer feeling bad about not being on their career path. They've healed that. So this is a seed that they're planting inside of themselves of holding space and faith that everything will work out. And faith is really important for Geminis because their mind is always arguing and debating. And if you're going to have this mind that's always second guessing and debating, you need something solid that doesn't change. And this is their spiritual connection. And this really is probably a new spiritual birth for Geminis. You're going to see Geminis now becoming more and more and more spiritual, or in some cases, more and more atheist. So Geminis who deny spirit are going to go crazy into their denial. Geminis who embrace spirit are going to go crazy into their embrace of spirit. So we're going to see a lot of changes in Geminis over the next few years. Leos, just like Miss Julie, Leos are planting seeds to a new future. And so this is about what they value in a decision and how they value, what decisions do they value? What do they value about their future? This could be a new career change for Leos. This is a fresh start for Leos in the sense that they now finally trust themselves. So Leos were healing trust for a long, long time. They didn't trust other people. They didn't trust themselves with other people. A lot of Leos had sexual issues to process and healing to process and boundary skirmishes to process. So Leos are creating a new future where they feel they can trust themselves in the world. And they're also believing in themselves at a higher level. That's the other thing. Leos were second guessing whether or not they were believable. So Leos are creating a new future where they trust themselves and they believe in themselves. Virgos are actually manifesting a new life purpose. And this comes from many changes with Virgos. Over the last few years, Virgos have had to heal all their karmic situations with relationships. I swear to God, every time I did a Virgo reading, it was all relationships. Like for the last 7 years, that's all the Virgos want to talk about for so long. And they finally have healed. Now, when I talk to Virgos, they're interested in their future. They're interested in their career. They've finally healed that relationship stuff. So Virgos healed their relationship stuff. They also had a lot of boundary issues and trust and intimacy issues also. They've healed those. So Virgos are creating a new life purpose, a new meaning that is not caught up with relationship issues and not caught up with trust and boundary issues. Libras. Libras are transforming their life. It's going to be difficult to kind of see this in your local Libra, but they are basically manifesting a new trust in themselves. And every Libra and Libra rising will play out that trust in a different way. Every Libra rising will, through a relationship or trusting themselves. Trusting themselves through jobs, trusting themselves through performance. So they're going to play it out in lots of different areas. But they are ultimately building a boundary structure, a way of protecting themselves that incorporates the things they have learned. One, Libras have learned to live in the moment without being taken advantage of. They've healed their body. They've healed their work situation. They've healed their moment. And they've healed their relationship issues. So this new trust and these transformations that Libras are making are based on them being relationship sane. Sane, yes. Okay, because they haven't necessarily been sane this whole time. So they're going to feel sane in their life. They're going to feel sane in their relationships. And this is going to be a whole new world of trust for them. Someone just pointed out that I missed Cancer. I bet a Cancer pointed out. Cancer! Cancers are manifesting basically, they're manifesting a new place in the world. So I had talked about this. I'm going to talk about it in the Namaste Today show, but a lot of Cancer's world was all based on who they took care of. And in the last few years, Cancers have learned they have to take care of themselves first and then put the oxygen mask on others. And because all of their world in the past was all about codependence, where they're helping other people to feel helped, their world was defined by those type of limitations. But now with Pisces and Aries consciousness healing, Cancers now believe in themselves. They've healed their belief in themselves. And that belief in themselves was part of the reason why they were caring for others, because they wanted to prove to themselves that they were worth it. And they also have healed their ambitious side. I think a lot of Cancer's ambition was to save somebody or to raise somebody. But a lot of the ambition and ego drive of the Cancer was this kind of heroic sacrifice thyself for another. And they've healed that now. So with their belief in themselves healed, with their heroics in check, Cancers are finding that they belong in a new place in the world, that they have a different role to play out there in the world. Scorpios. Scorpios are manifesting new relationships. So Scorpios are entering into new partnership agreements. I think you're going to see them strategically aligning with different people. And this is all part of the new and improved Scorpio. The new and improved Scorpio has two major qualities in it. One, that they finally have healed their broken heart. Just about every Scorpio on Earth was born with a broken heart in this generation. And it took Chiron through Pisces for them to heal their broken heart. The other thing is Scorpios kind of had a heroics thing going on in daily life. So they were always playing the hero to others in daily life. They were always being strong for others in daily life, never being strong for themselves. So now that they have healed their inner child, now that they have put their heroicism in check, where they're taking care of themselves first, that puts them into a whole new position for the type of relationships and partnerships that they're going to have. They'll be based now on a healed heart and heroics in check. All right. Sagittarius. Sagittariuses are manifesting a whole new lifestyle. So I've been making this joke that Sagittarius, I look at Sagittarius as basically fun pirates, okay? They're fun pirates. They show up to a port, they get to know the whole town, know everyone's first name, and then one day the ship leaves and you never see that Sag again, right? Because they're off to a new destination. And I think that Sages are off to a new tropical island. They have a new treasure island that they are going to. What this means is a new lifestyle, a new daily life, a new way of living in their body, a new way of working, a new way of living. And this is based on them healing two things. One, Sages had a lot of emotional issues. So every Sag on Earth was born with emotional karma that probably came out through their family, usually in their families. So Sages had been island hopping very much to kind of run away from their emotional problems. That was one of the big criteria that they chose with islands, that it was an island that wasn't their childhood or an island that wasn't where they're from. So they've healed their emotional baggage, and they've also healed their heroics when it comes to love. Sagittariuses tend to be kind of like knight in shining armor, or they want to be swept off their feet, or they want to be on some crazy magical adventure. And a lot of that was ego driven with Aries, but now that they have healed their feelings and they put their ego in check, that it's after what their heart wants, this births a whole new life for them, a whole new potential of what lifestyle and life can be. Capricorns are manifesting new dreams. And I think this is interesting because with Saturn in Capricorn, they're under a major overhaul every 30 years. When Saturn hits your sign, you go through an overhaul. The last time was 1988. So Capricorns are reinventing what they make their business. And what the universe is telling Capricorns to do is go for their joy. So Capricorns have usually gone for their power. They've gone for control. They've gone for authority. But they haven't necessarily, they always assumed their joy would come like a dessert or when they retire or whatever. And now the new Capricorn is investing in joy day to day. And this comes from them healing two parts of themselves. Capricorns have finally ended their guilt and mind games. So they spent years in mind games and guilt complexes with themselves, basically taking advantage of their power and then feeling guilty for taking advantage of their power. And Capricorns had to heal their heroics when it comes to their emotions. And where Capricorns were heroic was they would put their emotions aside for the job or for the career or to be strong, constantly acting like a hero and rising above their own emotional needs, which ended up making them feel not emotionally strong. So Capricorns, in their effort to feel emotionally strong, ended up never feeling emotionally strong, and they had mind games to boot. So having cleared out the mind games, having cleared out that emotional hero complex, this puts them in touch now, finally, for them to go after what their heart wants. And that's what they're planting seeds, a new abundant heart. Aquarius. Aquariuses are actually building an emotional foundation. And I think, honestly, for most Aquariuses, this is their first emotional foundation. Aquariuses tend to put their emotions off and not deal with them unless they have to. So their foundation was basically avoidance, okay? Now, because they have not been properly emotionally founded, it has prevented them from really manifesting what their heart wants, really creating on earth what they want, because they can't ground their magic. So this grounding of their magic is possible due to two areas of healing. One, their mind was caught in heroics. So their mind was always expecting big things, great things, gigantic things. The mind was never really focused on the needs of the Aquarius. It was focused on whatever it wanted to go after, fantasy, amazing kind of ideas. And then also, Aquarius has had a lot of self-esteem issues to heal in this lifetime. Every Aquarius that is born was born with a self-esteem issue where they doubted themselves for karmic reasons. So they had to realize what their true value was, their true essence, spiritual value, and they had to clear out the mind games and the mind domination. And having those two cleared gives them the ability to create a new emotional foundation that values what they're worth and keeps their mind out of the heroics. And then lastly, the Pisces. Pisces are going to manifest new thinking. And this is big for Pisces because, you know, Pisces are really wishy-washy. They go back and forth. They emotionally pick up on everything. What keeps them kind of going on a straight line or getting to the finish line is their mind. Their mind is assembling all this. They have Taurus consciousness for their thoughts. So they're on to basically a new plan, a new story, a new narrative. And this new moon has to do with creating this new narrative. What's interesting about this narrative, it is free of two areas. One, that they had heroics issues when it comes to self-esteem. And that means that they're either extremely feeling like they were winning and that they're very strong with their self-esteem, or they felt like a loser and someone in debt and a victim with money and self-esteem. So they had this hero-victim mentality around money and self-esteem that had to heal with Uranus and Aries. And they also were born with guilty conscience. Pisces, any Pisces born on this lifetime, and this is from Chiron and Neptune's transit through Pisces that I determined this, by the way, was born with some heavy karma. The soul was feeling bad about who the soul was. So there was a lot of healing about behavior, healing about your character, healing about your ego. So Pisces had to heal their ego and kind of get their self-esteem back out of the heroics. And having a healed ego and a self-esteem that's more neutral, they're now able to come up with a better plan for their life and what they want to manifest. So Pisces are basically filing flight plans with the universe with this new moon. So that pretty much talks about what the new moon will be. It'll be Tuesday morning. You're going to probably wake up and not want to get out of bed because new moon energy is very quiet and kind of sleepy. And keep in mind that in this new moon, Mars is at step 29 Capricorn. Uranus is at step 29 Aries. That means that this new moon, you must stay the course with what you have learned about control issues. You must stay the course with what you've learned about the winged ego versus the grounded ego. And you must come from the place of being karma-free. There is no more karma. You don't owe anything else in this lifetime. This truly is a fresh start if you are willing to give it to yourself. All right, my friends. Well, I could go on forever. I just want to give a couple announcements of good stuff coming up. In fact, I don't know where our poster went, Troy. Oh, here it is. First poster is Love Fest. We have Love Fest coming up, actually. This is our Love Fest poster. Love it. Jennifer Friend did this for us. We're doing a Love Fest event on May 20th, and this is for human beings to come together. This is for light workers to network. This is basically a love party where we're going to work on ourselves and we're going to network with each other. It will be live supercasted. Supercasted meaning it's going to go to like 3 different places. You can watch it at namastetoday.club. And we're going to have Master Suho is going to give us some brain body yoga stuff. So we're going to help you clear consciousness. I'm going to give steps to manifesting influence. And we have another yogi who's going to share with us her book. Her name is Memory, and she's written a book about being a yogi. So if you'd like to, if you're in the Denver area, we'd love to see you and give you a hug. I'm so excited to meet people. It'll be at 1 p.m. on May 20th. At the Mercury Cafe. That's where it's going to be. And you can find more information at oneness.care. Oneness.care. For all those who can't make it, show up and watch. We'll be live simulcasting, and I will be reporting out. The next little message is, for those people in Ohio, I'm coming to Ohio. I'm going to be in Cleveland, Ohio on June 15th. I'm going to be at the Centered Wellness Center. I guess that's what it is, Centered Wellness. It's Centered Wellness, but it's a center. And Mary Maynard, if you guys know Mary, she's a long-term client, a multi-lifetime friend. She's actually hosting me. I will be speaking at this event. If you want to know more, we're going to talk about the steps to staying heart-centric. So what are the conscious steps necessary for us to stay in our heart day to day? That's what I'm going to be speaking on. This will be on June 16th. You can find more information at centeredwellness.org. And then I'm part of a online masterclass series called Your Creative Fire. So a light walker named Jennifer Dove reached out to me and she interviewed me. And she's got this whole series coming up on how to ignite your intuition, claim your joy, and unleash the life you truly deserve. So basically how to be happy, right? And she's gotten all these light walkers to do kind of a 30-minute interview talking about some of their expertise and what they've learned. It's totally free. All you have to do is register with your email address so they can send you the invite. I've created a forwarding link. So if you want to see my video and others, they go live on May 28th. But if you want to register for your free access, go to namastetoday.me. Namastetoday.me, and that's where you'll be forwarded, and you'll just see, put in your email address, and boom, you're all in. So much love and gratitude to Jennifer Dove for that. In Serious Joy, my personal Sensei service, right now I am going through Sensei Secrets to Manifestation. Basically, I'm creating a video for every single step number. And this is something people would ask me forever. So this week, we're moving into step 12, step 13, step 14, step 15. So if you're wondering what the step means and how it applies to you, this would be an excellent time to join Serious Joy. It's just $3.99 for the first month. All these videos will be archived. For more information about my awesome service that guides people into their heart, come to seriousjoy.com. And then as a very last note, just an invitation, if you're watching this somewhere on the web, we simulcast to many places, but my home on Facebook is the Namaste Today Club. Anyone is welcome to join. Our only rule is compassion to one another. If you have a spiritual business or a craft or a service that you want to advertise, you're totally welcome to. We'd love to see you and rub elbows with you. Come on down to namastetoday.club. All right, I've gotten through it. It's Friday, and I'm done. I'm excited. This is a woohoo for me. I'm so happy to have the weekend. May energy is very comfortable. I think this is going to be a breakthrough weekend before the new moon. So try to ground yourself, have some lemonade, enjoy the sun. It is Taurus, baby. I hope you have a wonderful couple of weeks. I'll be back next month for another new moon party. And of course, back on Monday with Namaste Today. Remember, friend, I love you, and to live, love, be.